Welcome back to this broadcast of absolute metaphysical sovereignty. Today, we are expanding our brand new transmission series dedicated to decoding the cosmic blueprints written into the fabric of your existence, shifting our focus to the profound frequency of the life path number 2. Within the heavy simulation of the demiurge, almost every cosmic tool has been hijacked to trap the human avatar. As we decoded in our recent text, the astrological grid is heavily manipulated, serving as a cyclical administrative broadcast, where planetary loops trigger predictable emotional scripts and ancestral debts to harvest your life force. However, pure numerology stands completely apart from this archonic interference. While astrology relies on the shifting geometric angles of a physical, simulated sky controlled by the planetary step-down grid, numerology is rooted in the unalterable, primordial laws of pure frequency. Numbers are not physical objects. They are the uncreated, crystalline geometry of the high heavens. The demiurge can manipulate a planet's reflection, but he cannot alter the foundational vibration of a number. Numbers are the language of pure spirit, completely immune to matrix distortion. When you decode your life path number, you are uncovering the uncorrupted frequency your monad chose to anchor when stepping into this physical sandbox. To find this primary frequency, we use the pure Pythagorean method of reduction, breaking down the day, the month, and the year of entry into single digits. Let us take an audio example of an individual entering this realm on July 29, 1991. To calculate this out loud, first we take the month of July, which is the 7th month of the year, giving us the number 7. Next, we take the day of birth, which is the 29th. We add the two digits together, 2 plus 9, which equals 11. In traditional numerology, 11 is a master number. But to find the foundational base energy, we reduce it further by adding 1 plus 1, which gives us the single digit of 2. We add all these digits across, 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 1, which equals 20. We then reduce 20 by adding 2 plus 0, giving us the single digit of 2. Now we add the three final reduced digits together, the month number 7 plus the day number 2 plus the year number 2. 7 plus 2 plus 2 equals 11. We reduce this final number one last time. 1 plus 1 equals 2. This individual holds a life path number 2. In the profound Pythagorean system, and specifically referencing the masterful work by Dan Millman, The Life You Were Born to Live, this specific structure represents a journey of working through cooperation and balance, learning to clarify boundaries while serving a greater collective harmony. Life Path 2 individuals are the ultimate peacemakers, diplomats, and intuitive harmonizers of the universe. According to the Pythagorean description, number 2 represents the first step away from the solitary spark of the one, introducing the concept of duality, relationship, and cooperative energy. These individuals possess a natural, deep-seated sensitivity that allows them to read the subtle emotional undercurrents of the room, making them incredible mediator supportive partners. However, when a Life Path 2 individual is not following their true divine path, the distortion is severe. In Dan Millman's systemic view, if their immense cooperative energy is blocked or driven by fear, the number 2 collapses into its shadow traits. They can become deeply codependent, completely over-cooperating, until they lose their identity in another avatar. They struggle with resentment because they say yes when they mean no, frequently allowing their energetic borders to be breached, which turns them into a helpless doormat for matrix siphons. Alternatively, the ego avatar may swing to the opposite extreme, becoming hypersensitive, defensive, and uncooperative, creating artificial conflict to mask their fear of being controlled. In the geometric dance of numbers, particularly when using Glynis McCant's definitive work, Glynis Has Your Number, as our structural reference, the number 2 holds highly specific energetic relationships. Their natural matches are numbers 2, 4, and 8, which beautifully anchor their need for stability, mutual support, and secure foundations within the physical sandbox. Their compatible allies are numbers 3 and 6, numbers that easily align with their expressive, nurturing, and family-oriented desires. Conversely, their inimical numbers are 1, 5, and 9. These frequencies often create immediate dissonance, as the fierce independence of the 1, the chaotic freedom-seeking of the 5, and the detached global focus of the 9 directly conflict with the 2's primary need for intimate connection, safety, and close-knit partnership. If you find yourself struggling to navigate this complex numerical grid, or if you are entirely unable to calculate your specific multidimensional life path number, please do not leave it to chance. Reply directly to this broadcast or send a direct message with your actual date of birth, and I will calculate your frequency for you. Welcome back to part 2 of our numerological transmission series, designed to decode the crystalline geometry of the uncreated realm. In our first session, we established how numbers remain completely unmanipulated by the archonic controllers of the Demiurge's sandbox, unlike the heavily coded loops of the astrological grid. Today, we dive deeper into the multidimensional architecture of the Life Path 2 vibration, specifically analyzing how this harmonizing frequency must navigate the heavy structures of the material matrix to execute its true spiritual mission. When a monad chooses to enter this physical simulation under the primary frequency of the number 2, it is making a deliberate, tactical choice. The number 2 represents the primordial bridge of relationship, the divine feminine receptive principle, and the anchor of unified cooperation. In the system mapped out by Dan Millman in The Life You Were Born to Live, individuals working through the 2 energy are learning to step through their deep-seated fears of conflict or rejection in order to establish true, balanced harmony in this reality. For a Life Path 2 individual, the material matrix is a testing ground designed to challenge their emotional boundaries. From the moment they arrive, the regional managers of this matrix attempt to exploit their natural empathy through guilt-driven family dynamics, toxic codependent relationships, and systemic environments that reward the exploitation of the gentle. The system wants the 2 to overgive, to deplete its own vessel, and to become an open, energetic. Therefore, the ultimate spiritual purpose of a Life Path 2 is to master the sacred art of the word no, standing as a living monument of balanced, sovereign cooperation. To fully execute this path of true diplomacy, the 2 must identify and dismantle the hidden trapdoors within their own ego avatar. As Dan Millman observes, people with a 2 energy pattern often feel an intense underlying fear of being left alone or rejected by the group. Because the number 2 inherently represents partnership and connection, the unevolved avatar interprets any form of confrontation or isolation as a terrifying existential threat. When they fall into this trap, they fluctuate between 2 extreme distortions. Under the submissive loop, they surrender their personal sovereignty completely to a partner, a family unit, or a workplace, acting like an invisible servant. They constantly over-cooperate, suppressing their own truth to maintain a false sense of peace, forgetting that their true divine spark possesses its own independent authority. Under the aggressive loop, they flip into a state of hypersensitivity, resentment, and manipulation. Feeling unappreciated for their silent sacrifices, they turn every relationship into an emotional battlefield of unstated debts and covert control, siphoning the energy of those around them through guilt and emotional withdrawal. To stabilize, the Life Path 2 must recognize that true harmony does not come from appeasing others within the sandbox, nor does it come from defensive manipulation. It comes from anchoring deeply into the internal fullness of the monad, realizing that their boundaries are divine, and that they do not need to dissolve their identity to be worthy of love. As a Life Path 2 moves through the material simulation, understanding their energetic compatibility becomes vital to preventing severe siphoning and emotional friction. When using Glynis McCann's definitive work, Glynis Has Your Number, as our structural reference, the 2 finds its most natural matches with the 2, 4, and 8. The number 4 brings a solid, grounded, and structurally secure frequency that respects and protects the 2's emotional sensitivity, while the number 8 brings a powerful, abundant, and executive weight that provides the stable foundation the 2 needs to thrive without fear of survival. The 3 and the 6 serve as compatible allies, where the 3 brings a joyful, expressive, and lighthearted creativity that lifts the 2 out of its serious emotional depth, and the 6 brings a deeply nurturing, home-oriented, and supportive frequency that aligns beautifully with the 2's desire for intimate connection. The deepest friction occurs when a 2 attempts to build close-bound timelines with the frequencies of 1, 5, or 9. The number 1 operates on fierce independence and solitary pioneering, which the cooperative 2 often experiences as a cold, selfish abandonment. The number 5 seeks erratic freedom, constant change, and sensory chaos, which directly shatters the 2's primary need for stability and emotional predictability. The number 9 is driven by an impersonal, detached global vision, which actively conflicts with the 2's need for focused, one-on-one intimacy. Attempting to force a deep union with these numbers without proper energetic boundaries leads to an aggressive, mutual draining of life force. We have only just begun to scratch the surface of this profound numerical grid. If you find yourself struggling to navigate this complex numerical grid, or if you are entirely unable to calculate your specific, multidimensional life path number, please do not leave it to chance. Reply directly to this broadcast or send a direct message with your actual date of birth, and I will calculate your frequency for you. Stay sovereign, stay centered in your light. Voice of Divine Truth, June 15th, 2026.